What is up, everyone? How's it going? How's my audio?
Everyone, how's it going?
Sounds fine. Based on my 2 seconds of hearing myself. Already got some super chats here. That's incredible. Let's get to those. Mesta TV, man. What's up? Dan, here's an idea. Bring Nick back as a zombie. He zombifies you both, and you watch an Australian zombie movie. The last skit, I'm jonesing. Yeah, hey man, anything can happen. Anything can happen. But in terms of zombie movies, we will be watching. I don't know if do we have any zombie movies scheduled specifically. Yes, I think we do for the horror gallery coming up. But thank you so much for the super chat to kick us off there. And what's going on, everybody? Chill Saturday, depending on what time it is for you. For me, it's just entering Saturday evening, so nice chill Saturday evening stream here. And if you've been to streams before, you might notice it looks a little bit different. I am in the middle of doing a little bit of reorganizing in the studio here. So this is my plan for the kind of new setup for the streams in terms of the background. You probably remember this small not nightstand, but small shelf here from back in the old location. We would have this between us filled with, Star Trek stuff or various things. And then we also have this, my normal movie shelf, which is usually behind me on my left side, camera right, in the discussions. I've moved these. I also have a few Star Trek posters up. This is a picture that goes between Kirk and Picard. So it's like right in the middle right now, which is why it looks like Picard with Kirk's hair. I think that's pretty hilarious. And yeah, so I had this set up for the streams. Where we record reactions is over there to my left. And then where we record discussions is over here. So both areas are currently being worked on right now to look a little bit different. It'll be a while before you notice it because of the, how far ahead we are with recording, especially on the YouTube side. Right now, Star Trek wise, we have recorded up through episode 5 of TNG season 7 and episode 4 of DS9, I believe. I'll double check that, but I believe that's where we are. So that is where, you'll see the old current setup through. It's not going to be any type of huge difference, mostly just with what's behind us in the videos. But, I always like mixing things up. The formats of the videos are going to stay the same, but, in terms of how it looks. Plus, we've gotten so much more Star Trek stuff. That was the main reason for this change is we've gotten so much Star Trek stuff from you guys in the P.O. box that I wanted to be able to display more of that. So when I first moved in here, this is my house. When I first moved in, we had enough for one of the shelves behind us, or maybe 1.5, and that's what you see now. And then you have horror stuff, regular movies, all of that. We now have enough to fill a lot more with the Star Trek stuff we've been sent. So there will probably be a stream very soon, sometime in the next few days, where I'll actually be organizing that Star Trek stuff behind me. And if you're there at that stream, you can help me decide what goes where. So stay tuned for that as well. That will be coming. I think that'll be a fun time. But for tonight, I just wanted to hop on for a little bit, see what's up, see how you guys' weekend is doing, and answer some questions, whatever you guys have for me. And if you want to maybe even send me some links or anything like that, I can check out some videos if, as long as they're vetted and look good and everything like that. But yeah, how's everyone else? Let's see who else we got in here. Omni Raider, Alex Hudson, what's going on? Eric, Long Hill Andy in here. Sim Blackroom says it's 0:18 a.m. and Sunday in Germany. Damn. Harry Bros is at a birthday party. Well, I'm glad you still stopped by. And we did get a couple questions. I just posted the link to the stream over on Patreon just to let people know, that the stream was starting. And we already got a couple of questions that came in through there. Athos Count de la Fere, tried my best. But they asked, what has surprised you the most about The Expanse now that you are into season 3 of the show? So for anyone that doesn't know, The Expanse we have been watching this year over on Patreon, full uncut reactions, as well as the edited reactions you see on YouTube for the first season are all on Patreon. There's a couple of them here on the YouTube channel, but on Patreon, there's edited reactions just like the Star Trek ones and stuff you see here, but exclusively on the Patreon for the first season. But we've actually watched the second season as well and are now into the third season, full watch-along versions over on the Patreon, and edited versions of those will be coming this year as well. And as far as what surprises me the most now that we're in season 3, I guess the biggest thing would be how much the show has been able to feel realistic, even though it's dealing with very, I don't want to say unrealistic, but very sci-fi heavy themes a lot of the time. And, we're in the third season right now. So if you know that show, you know that it's really picked up with the story of where it's gone, with the proto-molecule and things like that. I won't get into spoilers, obviously, but it at no point has gotten like out of hand or something where I'm like, okay, well, I don't believe this is real. Because a lot of times with Star Trek, it's about suspending your disbelief. They're dealing with a lot of topics that on their face value, aren't real. So you kind of have to dig for what's the theming or what's the metaphor for this. Or you can just totally turn off your brain and just enjoy it as a fun sci-fi thing. But with The Expanse, it feels like there's an effort to really make it seem like in this world we've set up in the future, do you believe this could happen? And maybe you have to make one or two big leaps of suspension of disbelief. But once you do that to buy into the story, it's all pretty fleshed out in a way that seems real from the character perspective, the story perspective. I really respect that about the show. It gives a really nice contrast to Star Trek in that way. I see a few people bringing up Farscape in the chat, and well, let me show you something. We got it right here. But just because I have it, will we watch it? That's the question. Someone sent this to us, so I do have all 4 seasons plus the Peacekeeper Wars here in this collection. If you don't know, we watched the pilot for Farscape 2.5 years ago at this point, I think, and it's on the channel. You can watch. But as far as a series, my answer for so many series is just either A, once we finish Star Trek, B, if the Bridge Crew votes for it. So that's why we're watching The Expanse right now. The Bridge Crew, our highest tier on Patreon, they get to vote and decide a series for us to watch exclusive for the Patreon. And they have chosen The Expanse. We go season by season. They voted for season 1, and then they have voted for us to continue both season 2 and now season 3. So there has been some discussion of the Bridge Crew. It seems like there's 2 main trains of thought. There's about 60 members right now, 65 members, I believe, in the Bridge Crew. And it's a limited spot. So there's only, I think, 10 spots open right now if you want to join. But basically, the 2 main trains of thought are just go ahead and continue with The Expanse because Alex and I are enjoying it, which is already a rare thing, let's be honest, and finish it out. And then there's the train of thought of stop, because I think there's 6 seasons and we're on the 3rd. Take a break halfway through after this season and try out something else for a season or 2. So they're going to ultimately decide if they were to vote for Farscape, or they can vote for any series. So if they were to vote for that first season, we would watch it. So those are the 2 main possibilities. But right now here on the YouTube channel, we're really locked into Star Trek, obviously, especially with now we finally got to the point of watching 2 shows at once, and it's going to be that way for a while. Really trying to get to 3 episodes a week. I mean, I was able to get 3 out last week, as you saw. This week, 2 came out, so I'm really trying to make up, where we're at and get to 3 a week consistently every week, like we do on Patreon here on YouTube. And then also in the next few weeks, sometime here, the horror gallery is going to start rolling out, and it's not just going to be a Halloween thing; it's going to be all year round, probably at least once a week on YouTube. Now, those reactions are going to be shorter because a lot of the times we're reacting to anthology 20-minute series, but we've done some movies. We've done some 40, 50-minute anthology episodes as well, Outer Limits and things like that. And we've banked a lot of those reactions. So what I mean is we've recorded a whole ton of them. Over 15 reactions we've probably recorded of the horror gallery for this upcoming, for it to get started. And some of those have started hitting Patreon full uncut. But as far as edited, those are going to be, I'm trying to bank up a lot of them so that once we start posting them, we have them there to, post weekly and not be ever behind on it. So outside of those two things, there's going to be kind of not a lot of room here on the YouTube side for edited reactions because of that, at least for a while. I am now full time doing this, so I've been able to edit a lot more consistently. And I would just say, even with me doing this full time, I mean, there's only so many days in the week and so many hours. So, fitting in a full series like Farscape or anything else would be tough. But, obviously at the end of the day, we want to do what people want to see. And, there's a reality where we could have continued Quantum Leap or Buffy or Battlestar Galactica here on the channel alongside Star Trek, but unfortunately, none of them really took off or did well. So it is what it is. I mean, and we're a small channel. I say none of them took off or did well. Like Star Trek does well, but in the sense that, I mean, we're a small channel. So it's not like any of these are, even Star Trek, hasn't taken us to be some you know huge channel or anything. So it's tough to introduce something else when we're still at this level. Dr. Butt Lasers, thank you for the super chat. Still my favorite name in profile picture. Oh yeah, here we go. Twin Peaks Brigade arriving to say Farscape would be a great watch after Twin Peaks. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Fat Produce, thank you for the super chat. I can't wait to get to Babylon 5 in 2048. Yeah, maybe, but one day. Badger's in the house. What's up, Badger? A lot of the new Star Trek stuff we're going to be putting up came directly from Badger. So thank you very much, Badger. BSG still your number 3 watched video. Yeah, the first one, the miniseries, did very well. And that's why we decided to watch the first season, right? Because it did so well. And unfortunately, it just didn't carry over. And I think one reason for that is, unlike Star Trek, I feel like BSG and really most other series is when you're reacting to them on YouTube, you're going to get the big numbers for big episodes, and then the rest of it's just not going to, you know, when it's more serialized like that, people are just kind of waiting for the big episodes. As where Star Trek, every episode is episodic, it has its own story. For the most part, obviously DS9 is starting to move away from that, but you're going to get more views for the bigger episodes of Star Trek. But I really felt that with BSG, and unfortunately, I mean, we told everybody in every video, hey, if you want us to continue this, like the video. It helps people find it. And I think because we were a little bit negative, more negative than people like from typical reactors, but I think at least the Star Trek community understands that more a little bit, mostly at this point. But new people coming in for us to watch Battlestar Galactica, they come in, they don't like how we're not praising the show right away, and they leave, and they don't like the video and whatever. So it just didn't get out to a lot of people, didn't do that well. But it is what it is. Pauliner, any chance you guys watch Robert Meyer Burnett's Free Enterprise? It's a rom-com about 2 Trekkies. Nice. William Shatner plays himself. That's hilarious. I actually didn't know. I think I had heard of Free Enterprise before, but I didn't know that Robert Meyer Burnett was the one. That's pretty awesome. I'm a fan of Robert Meyer Burnett. Unfortunately, can't watch a lot of his current stuff because they obviously talk about Star Trek and get into spoilers and all that. But been a fan of him since back in the Schmodown days. So, yeah, I'm sure we could definitely watch it at some point. Again, just in that spot where we're kind of not have our hands full with 3 episodes of Star Trek per week, and we're getting to more of that extra stuff. Well, thank you, Stone, for saying we're great. More original Twilight Zone is definitely on the way. It's going to be part of the horror gallery. The tough one with that is we've seen, a lot of it, and we've seen basically most, if not all, of like the really highly praised episodes. I mean, we both loved the original Twilight Zone growing up. So, I mean, even if you watch our episode we did with the William Shatner segments, we had already seen those. So, a lot of those would be rewatches. But we are doing also the 60s Outer Limits, which is very close, and Night Gallery. So those are in there too. And those are first time watches. And then obviously the 80s Twilight Zone. Allie says Wrath of Khan. Absolutely. I don't even know what that means, but yeah, I agree. Still mad you guys skewered Unity TNG. What is Unity? Do you mean unification? Jamie, have you and Alex seen Hellraiser? I was rewatching recently and forgotten there was a DS9 actor in that flick. Maybe you guys have mentioned this before and I missed it. I don't think Alex has seen any of them off the top of my head. Maybe he has. I have watched, so when I graduated high school, right after graduating high school, I watched the first 4 films. Hellraiser, Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, Hellraiser 3, and then I think the 4th one was called like either Generations or something along those lines, where it like goes back in the past. Maybe it was called Bloodlines. I don't remember. Where it goes back in the past, and then it comes to the, you get to see the different iterations of Hellraiser throughout time, and then I think it ends in the future. I thought that Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, was leagues above all the rest of them. The first Hellraiser is good, but it's a different kind of movie than the franchise. It's kind of like Friday the 13th in that way, where Hellraiser is like a completely different kind of film. Needleheads in it, but not a lot. It's kind of its own story. And then Hellraiser 2 is like, oh, okay, this is what the franchise is. And then it turns into kind of your typical slasher, diminishing returns. So that's why I stopped after the 4th. But with that being said, that was in 2013, so 12 years ago. And I haven't rewatched any of them since. I think there's someone from Star Trek in Hellraiser 3, I've heard. But anyway, that's definitely something we could visit eventually for the horror gallery for sure. I haven't seen your reaction to Liaisons yet, but are you worried that you'll get it mixed up with Lessons? It depends on what you mean by mixed up. Mixed up in what way? Like in my memory? Because the titles are similar? I don't think so. Neil said, "What's the lore with you two and the channel?" I'm guessing you mean what are the oranges, the oranges, the beginnings of it. Um, Basically, one day, so Alex and I have been really good friends since late middle school, early high school, and then one day in late 2021, he texted me and said, "Hey, we should do a YouTube channel like this," and sent me a screenshot of, I believe, the YouTube channel Previewed. I believe was the one he sent me a screenshot of, and this was late 2021, so it was during the boom of like the Mandalorian and Disney Plus and the MCU coming off of Endgame, No Way Home, all these things, and I had already been a fan of the YouTube channel Heroes Reforged. That's a reaction channel I was a patron of, and I had watched some of the Disney Plus shows along with them, and also Invincible. They showed me Invincible, which was cool. And then I had watched Previewed and a few other ones, Holden Hardman and stuff as well. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm down for anything. Like whatever, I'll do whatever. I had done YouTube channels in the past, never anything that had taken off, but just generic commentary, movie related stuff. I had a movie related TikTok. And so we started with, talking about Marvel and Disney, Star Wars, and all that. And then eventually we found Star Trek just a few months later, and that's the lore. So we started Star Trek because Alex is a fan of Red Letter Media and started watching their TNG videos and was like, oh, we should check out Star Trek. So we started with the original series, and that is history, as they say. Richard Stone, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, awesome name, Richard Stone. Are you still planning to post the missing TOS uncut episodes? Good question. So this is another thing that just comes down to time and the demand for it. So, like, obviously, I'm guessing you want to see it because you're sending in the super chat asking it. So I respect that. The answer is yes, but there is no timeline for it. So for anyone to quickly explain, if you don't know what Richard's asking about, we started the Patreon with episode 28 of TOS, City on the Edge of Forever. So the first 27 episodes, we did not have full uncut reactions to because we didn't have a Patreon. And since then, I have gone back, and a handful of the season 1 episodes, I have restored the full uncut reaction for them, and to the best of my ability, and put them up on Patreon. There are still probably around 15 to 20 that do not have the full watch along available, and that is just because I haven't gone back and done them. I have the footage and everything, but it just takes time. And then when I post these reactions, they're getting a handful of likes, a handful of comments, a handful of people watching them. That doesn't mean that they're not, I don't want to devalue that, but it is what it is. So when I look at the limited amount of time that I have, and it's like, am I going to make sure I'm caught up with the current uncut reactions, or am I going to spend time doing that? It just has fallen by the wayside over the years. But the goal, yes, eventually, especially now that I'm full time, the goal is to get caught up with everything, and that is on the list of those things to get caught up with. But before we get caught up with that, I have to not only make sure I'm caught up and ahead of the game with our current uncut reactions, but also things like the movie reactions, and also the edits, both for YouTube, but also there's some stuff on Patreon I said I was going to edit. Expanse Season 2 hasn't been edited. A few movies that I said I was going to edit reactions for have not been edited. Paper Moon, Superman 3 and 4, a bunch of them. So that stuff all comes first. But my goal is here, I would say a good estimate would, for me, hopefully be like by the end of the summer, by Labor Day, to be at a point where I'm fully caught up with all of the stuff that's in the backlog. And then hopefully, those TOS uncut reactions would come as well. Thank you very much, Jesse, for the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate it. John M., thank you so much for the super chat. Post DS9, Trek fans get more divided. Gets Last Jedi-ish, where people treat differences of opinion as character defects. Any concern for the Patreon? Well, in terms of difference of opinion being treated as character defects, I think that's already been going on for, there were episodes of TOS. We laughed at the episode The Empath and got a bunch of blowback on that. Obviously on a smaller scale, we were an even smaller channel than we are now. But that's not, I don't think a post DS9 is when that's going to start. That's something we've been dealing with almost since day one, mostly because of the type of reactors we are. But we've been dealing with that for a while. As far as I'm guessing, just it getting worse, no, I don't really care. In terms of the Patreon, I feel like you have to be like self-aware of who we are as a channel. Does every once in a while someone sign up for the Patreon who maybe just found us and got really excited to watch Star Trek with somebody, and then within the first few weeks they go, oh, this isn't the type of reactor I want, and cancel? Like, yeah, that does happen. Or are there major events once in a while where someone who's been a longtime patron will cancel because they get really mad, like over Star Trek 6? Like, yeah, that does happen sometimes. But for the most part, I think if you are on our Patreon, if you're that big of a fan of ours, it's because you're aware of the type of people that we are and the type of watchers we are, and you're kind of self-aware enough to not expect us to line up with your opinion 100% of the time. So that would be my faith in our audience, I guess, makes me less worried about that. I would more so be worried about just the general popularity. So, like, obviously, by the time we get to post Enterprise stuff, or even Enterprise itself, I don't know the popularity level of Enterprise, like, even just in a few months when we end TNG, like how many people that have been patrons since we started TNG will fall off. Like, that's a very real thing. But I would more so base it on the popularity of the show, not the divisiveness of the people, watching it, I guess would be my main point. It's a great question though. But also just again, on a second part of that, that's why we are a Star Trek channel primarily right now, but we are always trying to try new things and seeing if other things will take off or do well, because we are aware that obviously there will come a time where this will not be able to sustain as it is right now. So, the further we get into Star Trek, the more you'll see experiments of stuff we're going to try to do. But I'm pretty confident. Our Patreon's not that huge. We're already a pretty niche channel and a niche audience. So, I would love to grow, obviously, but even at the level we're at now, I'm pretty confident that there's a lot of stuff out there that we can watch that people that are already in our audience would like to watch with us, would be my guess. So it's just a matter of finding it and seeing what the right fit is. Like, I think that The Expanse has been a great example. It was tough to find a sci-fi related show that we really dug, but the OG 1978 Battlestar Galactica, Firefly, which is only one season as well, but now The Expanse, those are like the big examples of ones where we actually really enjoyed them and the audience enjoyed them as well. So recently discovered your movie reaction section. Good stuff. Some great cult classics already. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm guessing you mean over on the Patreon. We do have a handful of movie reactions here on the YouTube edited, but as far as over on the Patreon, yeah, we have over 50 non-Star Trek full watch-along movie reactions that we've been posting since July 2022. So 3 years of movie reactions, and as of recently, over the last handful of months, it's been our Bridge Crew reactions because in our top tier on Patreon, if you sign up annually, we will react to a movie of your choice within 3 hours runtime, and not a Star Trek movie, obviously. And a lot of those have been awesome. We just watched a couple of them that haven't been posted yet, but were like some of the best movies we've seen in a while. So those recommendations, we don't always love every single one. Of course, it's us. But we've had a lot of ones that we've really loved. So those have been, those are still coming to the Patreon too. And hopefully, again, some of those will get edited as well for YouTube, but just a matter of time. Drew Blood with a based take. I love Star Trek 6. Doesn't mean I'm mad that TA doesn't like it. The difference of opinion is what makes watching you guys fun. Yeah, total W. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Dr. Butt Lasers. You're an insightful, thoughtful guy. I can easily see you finding more to expand your channel. I appreciate that. Gopher says there are times you get infuriated. Here in Alex's opposite reactions to me, but in a weird way. So it makes your channel worth watching. Gopher, I'm just imagining you like watching it and just going, ah! Infuriated, ah! Or like a typical movie, like you have a bunch of stuff on your desk and you go, knock it all off, all because we said like an episode was mid or something. You guys open any collabs or cross promotion? I mean, the biggest thing I've said with collaborations is that so we live in Ohio and there's not a lot of people creators, here obviously. I mean, there are, but there's some. But I'm not really in favor of like virtual collaborations or virtual collab reactions or anything like that. So if we were ever going to do a collaboration, it would have to be something we could work out in person. And we're just not a very big channel. So like the realistic possibility of us like arranging for someone's travel here or for us to travel to them, unless it was a really big opportunity for us, it just doesn't really make any sense. But I'm not going to say no. We do have our business email, which you can find in our video descriptions and on our channel, and that's an open business email. If anyone wants to email us, it's open. Dark Fallen, thank you so much for the super chat. Greetings, sir. Bridge Crew here. Thanks for everything. Well, thank you for being a member of the Bridge Crew. I don't know if I recognize the name Dark Fallen. Maybe you have a different name in the Discord, because the benefit of the Bridge Crew is you get a private Discord server where Alex and I interact. But thank you very much. Appreciate it. Pseudo Wolf, $11. Oh, thank you very much, Pseudo Wolf, for that super chat. Fast Eddie, what's up with only 2 episodes a week? I thought you guys had promised 3. Well, we did have, on the YouTube side, we did have 3 last week. And there should be one up in the next couple of days, which would make it 3 for this week. But in general, yes, on the YouTube side, we are not always doing 3 a week, just based on scheduling and getting them done. Really, that's it. So that is, like I said, I don't know if you were here a few minutes ago, but it's something I'm working on to get up to that full consistent 3 a week. But with it being said, Patreon is always 3 a week for the full uncut reactions. But on the YouTube side, we are working our way up to 3 a week consistently as well. It is the goal going into every week is to have 3, but we just have gotten behind and stuff happens. So I'm not trying to make excuses. It should be 3 a week, but it hasn't always been the case. Were you guys still considering watching Sliders? Yeah, that's definitely on the list too, and that's also a series someone sent us the box set of, so we have it in our possession. I think it's only 1 or 2 seasons. That's definitely, one I would consider. I mean, like I said, there will be a point, not right now and not for a while, probably once we're done with Voyager and are just watching Enterprise. Is just in my head where I'm thinking, but that could change. I could be wrong. That's where I'm starting to think like, okay, at that point, we should probably start trying to expand to other things. So, in terms of edited on YouTube, of trying other shows like we used to. Long Hill Andy, thank you so much for the super chat. It's you guys bringing the entertainment on top of the reactions. The best laughs I have in the week is laughing at you guys taking the piss out of Star Trek as well. Well, thank you so much. UK phrase mocking. Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah, taking the piss out of. Yeah, 100%. Well, I'm glad you enjoy that. I'm glad you get some laughs. We definitely think we're funnier than we are, so it's nice to have that validation once in a while. Sliders has 5 seasons. Wow. Okay. Have we watched Red Dwarf? Well, no, but we did try. We did try. If you're a brave soul, you can look up you can look up Red Dwarf on our channel. I don't know if I recommend that video, but there is one video on our channel. It's not a reaction. It's one of only 2 reactions in the history of our channel that we recorded and did not release. Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf. Yeah, these are all great. Athos, hey, this is I answered your question about the Expanse earlier. I hope you were here and saw the answer. If not, you can scroll back and hear it at the beginning of the stream. But thank you so much for the super chat. I learn more from you guys when you disagree than when I agree with you. LOL, I value your insights. Well, thank you very much. That's awesome. Thank you. I think we're in a weird space because we are reactors first, and I think the goal typically of a reaction when you're a viewer is getting to watch something you really enjoy with somebody and share that experience with them. So if they don't like it as much, it is a damper on that feeling of that not justification, of that validation or that vicarious enjoyment. I mean, I'm the same way when I watch reactions, right? But we're also very heavy in the critique side, not only with the discussions, but even in our reaction, we'll talk about critiques or bring up technical elements during it. So it puts us in kind of a weird space where we're in this middle ground. And I did at one point try to separate those and have, the discussion reviews a separate product than the reactions. But I just learned ultimately at the end of the day, it made sense to just present it as one. And obviously, you can leave the video when the reaction's over, as plenty of people do. My analytics tell me for every video. But it definitely puts us in a weird thing. There's definitely 2 types of viewers right now in our audience, for the most part, 2 main groups anyway. The first being people who show up, watch our reaction, and then watch the discussion and enjoy it all. And those are probably people more likely to be on the Patreon as well. And then there's the people that show up because they love Star Trek. They watch our reaction, and if it's an episode we don't like, they kind of just grit their teeth and get through it, and then they leave, and maybe leave a comment complaining about it as well. But both are part of our audience, so we appreciate everyone. we no matter what parts of the video you like, we appreciate them. But it is what it is. Please do Fringe when I send you the series. Well, I can't promise we'll do it just because you send it to us, because if that was the case, there's probably, looking over my drawer here, there's at least 5 series that we've been sent by people that we haven't watched. So it would have to join that line if that was the sole reason. But if we found a reason to watch Fringe, then we definitely will. Civ Lacrum says they like the patron takes more than the discussion. All right. That's interesting because, I mean, it's natural with any YouTube video that, you know, the retention is going to go down as the video goes on, and the patron takes are at the end. So naturally, it's going to be the least viewed. But there is always that drop off from reaction to the discussion starts. There's a drop, and then when the discussion gets to the patron takes, there's a drop. So I'm glad that some people enjoy it outside of just having their take read. That's obviously everyone's hope, right? When the patron takes go out, they want their take to be read in the video. I'm sure it's a cool feeling. But outside of just that part of the enjoyment of the Patreon benefit, I hope that there are some people that also just enjoy watching it and watching us react to those takes as well. So thank you for saying that. Are there any Are there any Star Trek episodes that you didn't like, but you felt could have been good with only minor changes? 100% first one that comes to mind is The Most Toys. Most Toys has to be the episode that I was closest to really liking, and just a few ways that they did it made me not really enjoy it. It's still a fine episode, but that's definitely the first one out of the whole series that comes to mind. And that, well, you said Star Trek in general, so it could even be TOS, but obviously my memories of TOS aren't as vivid at this point in specifics. Trying to think if there's any other big ones that jump to mind, but that was definitely the biggest one. Episodes that I didn't like. Check my list real quick of ones I don't like. The game, I don't know how minor of a change this would be, but if the game had just went, it's already ridiculous, but if it had went like full on camp and not tried to take itself seriously at all and was like a clear, almost parody episode of the show, could have been fun. But even then, it's just you'd have to change the whole vibe. Captain's Holiday. Just make the whole episode what the first half was. Picard enjoying shore leave and dealing with minor inconveniences like the Ferengi and Vash and the Horgon misunderstanding. And, maybe the plot is the Ferengi does something, whatever that causes an issue. But for the whole episode to change right in the middle to this Indiana Jones-esque adventure that was just boring, not good. So just make it like how the first half was, because it was a fun time. All new Doctor Who Book Club podcast. Have you heard of the 80s horror TV show V? Yes, someone actually sent us recently V, the miniseries, and then I think V, the original series or something like that. There's two different Blu-rays of V. So we do have those. And that has been something I've seen in comments and stuff for a long time. So I'm not fully aware of it, but I am aware of its existence. And I would not be against watching it at some point. Tom O'Malley, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm not especially interested in what you react to. All the better if it's something I enjoy too, but your reactions are entertaining regardless of what you watch. But you gave up on Buffy too easy. Well, first of all, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. That's such a rare thing to say and such a rare thing to, have a genuine opinion of. I mean, I'm someone who consumes, I would say, a moderate amount of reaction content, not a lot by any means. Definitely not TV show or sci-fi reactions usually. But I do watch a somewhat fair amount of movie reactions, and then I personally really enjoy music reactions myself. And when you find someone that not only are you watching them for what they're reacting to what you like, but also maybe even you're able to find new things through them, that's when you found a right channel for you. I mean, that's what happened with me with Heroes Reforged, showing me Invincible, and then also I think it's called Turn the Tables, or let me get it pulled up real quick, make sure I'm shouting them out correctly. They're much bigger, not that they need my shout out. Turning the Tables, yeah. They're a music reaction, as a dad and son that react to music, and I've actually found artists and albums that I'd never listened to before through watching their reactions, listening along on Patreon with them. So that's the goal. The truth. Thank you for the $5 super chat. why did you get so emotional watching the TNG episode Lessons? I mean, I think I definitely describe it in the discussion, but to try to get more into it, I would say, I guess just seeing Picard finally get something, finally be able to fall in love in a way that doesn't feel manufactured. I mean, it just felt so real. Um, like when Picard meets Nella Darren in the opening of the episode, and they meet in the stellar cartography room. Um, just their instant chemistry and everything. It sucked you in so well to buy into, this isn't Wendy Hughes and Patrick Stewart. Like, this is Captain Picard and Nella Darren, and feeling that throughout the whole episode. And just the episode takes so long to introduce the actual, sci-fi-esque plot of this planet, that it really for a while just feels like the episode is going to be about the perils of the captain falling in love with somebody on board. Uh, and that was amazing to see. And then once you've already bought into this love story, then for them to introduce that plot, but not in a way that takes away from that, but to actually execute that well, of showing why they can't be together and how tragic that is. I think that's what got me emotional about it. Is I know Picard is not real. I know he's a fake TV character, but when you're in the mindset that he is real and you're watching him fall in love with somebody, and then for that to be taken away because of just the job that he's in and just the situation, um, it just really affected me, because I'm someone, I love a good rom com, I love good romance films, uh, you know, 500 Days of Summer, When Harry Met Sally, About Time, and they affect me in that way a lot of the times that other movies don't, because I feel like love is such a powerful emotion. I mean, even something like Interstellar, right, which is more of a kind of a science fiction, but you know, deals with the theme of love as well, and I find it very fascinating. So those are probably the reasons for me, and specifically because it was Picard. I mean, there's been episodes with other characters that fall in love, and it affects me. But Picard, after everything he's been through, I never would have pictured him as a character to genuinely fall in love with somebody, because every time they've done it, it's been a little bit not the best. Um, I mean, he was never portrayed to fall in love as deeply as he did with Noah Darren, but yeah, I just thought that was really well done. That's why it's my favorite episode, at least so far. Jay Gavidia. This was actually discussed just a few minutes ago in this stream, so I don't want to go through the whole story again. You can scroll back in the stream, and someone asked about the lore of the channel, and I talked about Star Trek. But basically, long story short, it was Alex's idea, and it didn't really cost anything to convince me, because I was down for whatever, and the channel had less than 100 subscribers or something, so I was down for trying whatever. And yeah, thank you. Greetings from Peru. That's awesome. But yeah, it was 100% Alex's idea, although he did want to start with TNG, and I said, no, we should start with TOS to get the full story. And I'm glad we did, even though it delayed us watching TNG by a year or whatever, but I'm glad we did. But yeah, I'm a big softy. Hey, you're right. Josh, do you like how yesterday's Enterprise redeems Tasha Yaris' character? I thought that was really noble and brave. Yeah, I love yesterday's Enterprise. I think at the time, I mean, we definitely praised it. It's one of our biggest reaction moments when the camera pans to Tasha. And can I also just say, what a moment of, like, we talk so much about the technical stuff and like reveals and visual reveals. Perfect. I think it was David Carson that did yesterday's Enterprise. Maybe was it David Carson? I'm going to look it up right now. But I mean, just absolutely perfect reveal. Let's see. I mean, you guys have probably already put it confirmed in the chat. Yeah, David Carson. Absolutely amazing visual reveal of Tasha. One of the best of the show. right up there with the Q reveal, and that episode's great. That episode is really really good, and as close to a mirror mirror we've gotten. Don't no spoilers, but pretty much as close as we've gotten to that in TNG. And at the time, I mean, we definitely praised it and said it was really good, but I don't know if it really sunk in, how much we loved it. So I did love it, and it's obviously Tasha's best episode. Maddie says The Offspring was the only episode which made me emotional. The actress did an amazing job. Like you guys said, it could have been bad if the performance was nailed on. Yeah, absolutely. And that was the only other one that got me emotional as well until Lessons. So I'm right there with you. I'm curious. I'm going to go back because I should still have the list, I think, my list. Where did I put Yesterday's Enterprise in my season 3? Okay. It looks like I put it at number 6. Okay. Season 3 was big, though. Season 3 had a lot of great episodes. So I'm looking at my top 5 of season 3. I had Sarek. That's an amazing one. The Bonding, of course. Bonding mentioned. The Offspring, one of my personal favorites. We just talked about that. And then my top 2 were The Defector and The Enemy, which I think are 2 perfect TNG episodes. And probably 2 of the ones I would show someone who hasn't seen Star Trek. So that is a tough field. I don't know, even at this point, if I would move Yesterday's Enterprise up the list into that top 5. But damn, maybe above Sarek? Yeah, maybe above Sarek, I could say. But Sarek, Mark Leonard, what a boss. Compare Sarek's episode of TNG to Spock in Unification. I mean, night and day in quality. Why didn't you go with Alex to get a picture of Dr. Crusher? Well, thanks for the question. If anyone didn't see it, Alex is at a con right now, and he got a picture with Gates McFadden, and then had her sign the picture, and had a nice little conversation with her, and then also got a picture with Wayne Knight Newman. So those were posted. If you want to check those out on our community tab, those pictures, pretty cool. The reason I'm not with him is because he is also a professional wrestler, and he is booked there at that GalaxyCon this weekend to wrestle. So it wasn't a matter of him going out there to meet her. He was already there, and then she was going to be there. So it worked out. I do not wrestle. So I used to back in the day, but I do not. Therefore, I was not on the show. Therefore, I did not take a picture. And I wasn't going to pay to travel to, where they're at for that. If someone came to Cleveland, whether it was William Shatner, Gates McFadden, whoever it was, and they were doing something locally, maybe I would consider it. But I would rather, maybe my hopes are too big here, but I would hope that we get to a point with the channel where it's large enough, and once we finish Star Trek, especially, and don't have to worry about spoilers, to where we could actually talk to some of these people via booking them for interviews or whatever the case is. I would love to be able to do that for whoever of them, whether it's actors or even behind the camera, directors, writers, producers, that would love to sit down. I would love to eventually, in the next few years, start a podcast, a Star Trek related podcast, but not one that just talks about the show or reviews the show, but more so focuses on the behind the scenes aspect, since we're very interested in that. And that's something I would love to do. So not that I'm against meeting anybody for that reason, but I just hope that I could get to a point where that becomes a possibility for me. That's kind of my main goal at this point. My biggest goal for a long time was obviously getting to do this full time, and now I'm doing that. So, that's my next big goal, is to kind of get big enough to where those opportunities present themselves, or not present themselves. We'll have to probably drive them and ask and try to do that, but become possible, basically. Seen a few people ask. Yeah, we did watch Galaxy Quest way back after watching the first season of TOS. It was our 2,000 subscriber special, voted on by our YouTube audience. So the reaction is on YouTube if you look up Galaxy Quest. Yeah. Harry, I know you guys love Trek and horror, but are there genres you hate like musicals, westerns, slapstick, rom-coms? I would say for me, speaking for myself, I don't know if there's any genre that I hate. There are definitely genres I'm unfamiliar with. So westerns, I am completely unfamiliar with. We watched Tombstone over a year ago for the Patreon, and I enjoyed it. Outside of that, I don't know. I watched The Hateful Eight way back when it came out. That's more obviously a modern western. I just haven't seen a ton of westerns, so I'm unfamiliar. But not because I avoid them or hate them. I used to be pretty against period pieces in general, but I've come around more to that as I've seen more that I enjoy. Um, War films, again, it just depends on the execution. I'm not jumping for joy to watch a 3-hour war drama, but there are war films I really like. 1917, I thought was incredible. Probably not the best movie of all time, but when I was younger, I watched Jarhead with Jake Gyllenhaal, who's my favorite actor, and I really liked that. So really any genre just depends on the movie, which is a cop-out answer. But I would just say those ones that come to mind, like war dramas, period piece dramas, are ones that I don't jump to watch right away unless I feel like there's something about them that would intrigue me. I love musicals personally. Don't typically love the ones where they're singing the entire time. I prefer musicals like La La Land, Willy Wonka, where the songs are woven throughout. But even ones where they sing the whole time, I've watched ones that I have enjoyed. Alex does not, on the whole, like musicals. That is not a genre he enjoys as much as me because I really appreciate dance choreography and musical numbers and things like that are done well. Although Alex does obviously love select ones, he enjoys La La Land. He really loves Willy Wonka, but it's not necessarily in those movies the musical numbers that he enjoys. He enjoys the film aspect of them. So, yeah, I hope that answers the question. I mean, I think Star Trek is a great example where we aren't really sci-fi fans. Like, we don't throw on a movie because it has a deep sci-fi premise and go, "Oh, I'm probably going to love this." It's just we love Star Trek individually, and there's other sci-fi stuff we've enjoyed a lot too, Firefly, The Expanse. But to us, it's not really about genre; it's about the execution of the thing being made. But obviously, horror, at the end of the day, horror will always be I will give anything a chance if it's horror. I personally feel like it has the lowest floor, highest ceiling. I think horror film can be the best thing you've ever seen. I also think it can be complete shit, but so many of the horror films that are complete shit are fun. So, versus like other genres that when they are complete shit aren't very fun to watch. So that's what kind of makes the difference for me. Can't believe this channel is still below 20K. Hey, well, me either. Neither. But here we are. But we're getting close. We're getting very close. My goal going into the year was 25,000 by the end of the year. I don't know if we're on pace to hit that because the biggest bump of the year, unless something unexpected happens, was probably the DS9 premiere, which did give us a nice bump, but we're still under 20,000. So hopefully we can hit that. But my main goal at this point, I would love for the YouTube channel obviously to grow, but with the niche that we're in and the type of people we are and the quality of our content, I think that my biggest focus is definitely on the Patreon. So what I'm going to go ahead and do for you guys is I'm going to drop a link here in the chat, and this link is for 1 free month of our audience tier over on Patreon. Now, if you're already a current member, this isn't going to work for you. Sorry, but for new members, if you want to try out the Patreon for 1 month and see what it's all about and see if it's for you, I just pasted the link there in the chat. Now, you'll probably have to copy and paste this link. I don't know if links work as far as like clickable. Maybe they do. I don't know. Oh, looks like it is clickable. Cool. But you can sign up there and get 1 month free just as a thank you for you guys that are here on the stream. I appreciate it. And my goal is basically just for the Patreon at this point to get to 2,000 paying members. Right now, the current count, I can go look at it right now, see what it says. Looks like right now we have over 2,700 total members, but a lot of those are free members. We have just over 1,500 paid members right now. Really hoping to get that to 2,000, and I want to set a goal for when we do. So I've been thinking about a lot of different things. Don't want to make it too heavy of a goal or too heavy of a reward, obviously, because time, and don't want to take away from anything we're doing. But my two main considerations right now is one, adding the Expanse to YouTube, the edited reactions. So their season 1 has been on Patreon for months, edited. Season 2 is coming soon. If we hit 2,000 on Patreon, that's one consideration, is to get those started on YouTube. But that doesn't really benefit anybody signing up for the Patreon because they're already there on Patreon. So my second train of thought is adding something on the movie side to Patreon, some type of regular thing. We did have the movie lottery, which was originally once a month, but it's been on hiatus because we've been doing the Bridge Crew movies. But those Bridge Crew requests, we are coming to an end with the list that we have, unless we have new annual members sign up. So I am thinking about maybe adding something from a movie perspective, which can then be edited and put on YouTube as well. Maybe that is the movie lottery being brought back and more frequent. That could be something where basically our target demographic tier and higher get put into a wheel and the winner gets to pick a movie. Right now, our last winner, Timothy, patron, picked True Grit from 2010. So that's the one we're currently going to be watching and posting soon. But we haven't done that spin since I think April. So it's been, behind on doing that. That's also a possibility. But I don't know. It could be something else. I haven't made any decisions yet. So if you guys have requests or ideas for what that goal could be, it says you already redeemed it. Let me get a new link real quick. Maybe that one was already. Let me get a new one. All right, this one is more current. If it didn't work, that old one might have been used before. So if you did it before, it might not work. There's a new one for you. And it's just 1 month, no credit card or anything required. It will just expire after that month. But if you try it out and you feel like, hey, this is actually something I would enjoy, doing the full watch alongs, sometimes getting the YouTube videos early, patron takes, all those types of things, then, you can sign up either for this audience member tier, which is what the gift is for, which is our starter tier, or one of the higher ones. Target demographic tier gets that movie lottery. It gets the name and the credits of our videos, and it also gets a day early access to all uncut reactions. And then, our Bridge Crew is our highest tier, where you get the Discord, private Discord access with us. Monthly video hangouts. Our next one is coming up this week, and different stuff like that. So appreciate it. You believe adding Babylon 5 to the rotation would also give a decent bump? Yeah, some people have said that. I don't know. I'm skeptical about Babylon 5, and the only reason I say that is because, nothing against anybody that reacts to Babylon 5, obviously. I'm sure there's people that do it, whatever. But when I look up Babylon 5 reactions on YouTube, I can't find anyone that's doing it that's consistently getting really good views. So it just, to me, has never seemed like something that had that much of a market. But the people that are already in our audience are really requesting it. So again, that could come down to more, not necessarily us getting a bump. I'm sure there would be some type of bump, but not necessarily like a big bump like DS9 or TNG gave us, but maybe within our current audience, something that would satisfy people who are already here and help out, on the Patreon and things like that. So, that is a possibility. Been waiting for Duet for months. Yeah, so Duet is already up on the Patreon. Full watch along. Full watch along. So you'll need your own copy, just like everybody's Patreon. Well, not everybody. Some people just illegally put the video in there. But for the most part, you got to sync up your own copy of the show or movie for those full watch alongs. But the edit for Duet is only a few weeks away because we got what's coming up next is, I think, If Wishes Were Horses is next. Sure, you're all waiting for that one. And then TNG, and then The Forsaken goes back to TNG, and then I think it's episode 18 and 19, I think, are back to back of Deep Space Nine, going in release order. Let's see here. Yeah, 18 and 19 back to back. So really not this upcoming week, but the week after, I think should be. Let's see. So we got this week. Yeah, it should be the end of the next week there. So going into August, so just a couple of weeks away. Again, if we're able to get those edits out like I want on time, should be coming. And as far as I'm getting them early on Patreon, that's not a benefit that we promise anymore, just because of timing. There's a lot of times that I post them to Patreon and I'm posting them to YouTube right away because it's just we're behind. But obviously, the goal is getting to a point where we're ahead, and once we're ahead, they will be on Patreon earlier again. But that's just not something right now that's we're able to do, unfortunately. But we are getting there. What's up, Connor? Bridge crew member. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. You too, man. Any consideration of watching Squid Games? Now, that one's an interesting one. I've never watched Squid Games, and I think that would be one that could probably do well with numbers as far as reacting to it. My biggest thing with that is it's a modern show, and it has like this is the third season that came out or something. So we start to watch it. If we watched it over the course of let's say three to 6 months, these people all come in for Squid Games. Then we finish it. Okay, now what? Now we have a dead base of subscribers who came for just that show. I mean, that's my only worry with doing something because Star Trek is so long, or even something that is 5, 6, 7 seasons. It takes a while. But something like that, a more modern show, it's kind of like then what? Because worse than someone who's not subscribed to you is someone who subscribed to you and doesn't watch anything you make. A dead subscriber is going to hurt your channel so much more than someone who watches your videos once in a while but isn't subscribed. So because the first people that you get your videos is your subscribers. So if you don't have an active subscriber base, which thankfully we do, and it's very hard to get, but we do, most of our views come from subscribers, which is not normal on YouTube. But with that being said, that's my fear. Because some people have said, like, why don't you edit the movie reactions you guys do on Patreon? And like, yeah, I could do that. Spend the time doing that. But every time we've posted a movie reaction to YouTube, first of all, I don't usually do that well. But then let's say we post one and it pops off, becomes our biggest video. Then we have a bunch of subscribers that aren't here for Star Trek. So it's just, that's the balance I consider every day. But I also am an overthinker and I overthink these things way too much. So, that's probably part of it too. Jazz fan says, "Hey Josh, love Target Audience channel. You guys are my most favorite reaction channel. Thank you so much. Appreciate it." Stargate is a fantastic series. Stargate is absolutely in there for one we want to watch eventually. We watched one episode of it and did enjoy it. So that's definitely one we could. Lee, my favorite reaction channel too. Oh, you guys are so kind. Stargate movie is basically the pilot. Ah, really? We watched the Stargate movie. It's over on Patreon. And then we watched one episode of Stargate, not the first one, a random one. Yeah, I guess the main gimmick of the Stargate is obviously from the movie, but it felt like the show was pretty much its own thing. And I know it's supposed to be the same character. It's supposed to be, was it Kurt Russell? But I see it as a different character because that's how my brain works with recasts. Simple Black says you should ask your patrons to skip Discovery when you're there. Why would I want them to skip it? I would want them to watch it with us. Thank you for the gifted membership. I love you guys so much. You're so awesome. You guys really know how to do Star Trek and other great shows and reviews. Well, thank you. And yeah, the pinned message is still if there's any remaining, because it was limited. You can get a free month over there if you're a new member. Does it hurt you if I skip the YouTube posts that I've already watched on Patreon? That's a good question. Uh, yes. Well, if what you mean is you watched it on Patreon natively within Patreon, and then we post the YouTube video and you're subscribed to our channel and you're not clicking on it, in theory, yes. So like anytime that you are shown a video on YouTube and you don't click on it, this isn't just our channel, it's anybody. Any video you're shown on YouTube and you do not click on it, you are telling YouTube you don't want to watch that content. That's just how it works. So I'm not expecting you to watch it again, obviously. But if you are concerned about that, you could click on it, not watch the whole thing. You could click on it and just leave a like. Watch retention is absolutely important. Clicking on our video and just clicking off is, not great for us either. However, being just one person, doing that's not going to make that big of a difference. But what does make a difference truly is liking the video. And I've said this before, if you look at Battlestar Galactica, for example, one of the most watched videos on our channel. Why? Because it's also one of the most liked videos. It might actually still be the most liked. Let me go see. And it's ironic. I mean, obviously, people liked it because they wanted us to watch the show. Wrath of Khan is close. Wrath of Khan is our most, watched video, and it has 4,000 likes. Battlestar Galactica, the original one, 4.1 thousand. That's what really shot that video up. After the first week or two, when it did well, the likes is really what shot it up. So basically, long story short, if you want to help us out on YouTube but don't want to watch our video, if you've already watched it on Patreon, just click the video and like it. Like that is the most you will ever help us. Obviously, we appreciate you being on Patreon and giving us your financial support. That is more help. But on the YouTube side, liking every video you watch of ours is the nicest thing you could ever do for us. So, am I helping the channel if I just a thumbs down and then leave? Yeah, actually, you are, Webb, because thumbs down is from what I understand, clicking on a video and then clicking thumbs down is actually helping the video more than if you didn't click on it at all. So it actually did help. A lot of our video, guess what our most disliked video of all time is? It's I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's either Wrath of Khan or Battlestar Galactica. Because even though you're disliking it, it's engagement, as crazy as that is. So is it better? Is that as much help as liking the video? No. But it's still more help than not clicking on the video at all, believe it or not. Smash the dislike button. Wouldn't it be crazy if you could hit both? I'm pretty sure if you dislike, like, you can't hit. What if you could hit like and dislike? That'd be crazy. It may be fun watching these two crap on TDS. TDS? Trump derangement syndrome? Oh, STD. Okay. Star Trek Discovery, I'm guessing you mean. Yeah, I mean, I think I said this in the last stream, maybe not. But I'm excited for new Trek because it's going to go one of two ways. Either we're going to love it and we get to be contrarian and try to convince people why it's good, or we get to shit on it, which we love to do. So it's going to be. And we'll actually have people that will praise us for shitting on it. So it's going to be a win-win as long as people watch the videos. I didn't mean I'd do that to your channel other than that one time. You know what's funny is I don't even know what the one time would be, James. It could be, let me take my best guess of what it, I know you're probably joking here as well too, but let me guess. Obviously Star Trek 6 is an easy one, but let's see. Was it True Q? Siddhartha, thank you so much for the super chat. How far are you into season 2 of DS9? How does it compare to early TNG season 2? Oh, DS9 gets better faster than TNG. The peaks are higher and it stays there longer. Well, that's good to know if that's the case. We have watched episode 4 of Deep Space Nine. So we watched the opening 3-parter, and then we watched episode 4, which let me just refresh my memory of what that episode even. Oh, the Dax Symbiont episode. That's what we watched. I would say that how does it compare to early season 2 of TNG? What were the early episodes of season 2? There was The Child was the opener, terrible. Well, give me some of the what were the early season 2 episodes? Guess I can just look it up real quick. Because A Matter of Honor, episode 8, is awesome. Where Silence Has Lease, yeah, it was all right. It was pretty good. It has some good stuff in there. Elementary Dear Data, that's a great episode. Outrageous Okana, not great, but I enjoyed it a little bit. Loud as a Whisper, mid, but it had the cool vaporizing phaser scene. The Schizoid Man, we really enjoyed. The Legend, Dr. Solar, in that episode. Unnatural Selection, now that's a bad one. Pulaski. And then you get Matter of Honor, Measure of a Man. I mean, look, season 2 of TNG is not the best, but I'm a defender. I like season 2. I think it might even be better than season 5 of TNG. But with that being said, I have really enjoyed DS9 season 2 so far. You have to start asking people to like, comment, and subscribe on every posted video. Yeah. Yeah, I know. We used to do skits for it, and I think they worked pretty well, but we stopped. And you're probably right. At least the liking. I mean, at least the liking. We should probably ask because it's Pavlovian. It's just been proven. If you ask people to like the video, you can ask them. I think it was like the study was like people will do one thing, and if they really like you, they'll do 2. But one thing people will do. So if you ask them to like the video, not right at the start, but about, I think it's like 2/3 of the way into the video, they're more likely to like it than if you don't say anything at all. Not because they don't like it, but just people don't naturally, they forget, they don't think about it, so we probably should continue to do that. And I also just realized something I just started doing again recently when we recorded was, the patron takes. We have the video card that comes up and says patron takes, but we've completely stopped explaining what they are or how you do them, and have completely just relied on the audience to know. So we have to start, reemphasizing, hey, if you want to do this, go to Patreon. So, we've just gotten kind of, I don't want to say lazy, but just forgetful or not considerate in that aspect. Did Webb ever answer about his dislike? The Inner Light? Doomsday Machine? I don't know. Badger said multiple things, and then Webb said yes. Opinion on Relics. It's really good. We enjoyed it. It's on YouTube. The original Roswell is incredibly good. Yeah, I actually watched just maybe an episode or 2 of the original Roswell when I was a kid on the Sci-Fi Channel, but not enough to like. Oh, Star Trek 6. Okay, yeah. Well, that's the generic answer. I was hoping for a deeper cut. I was hoping for here. I was hoping for this.
Very.
I was hoping for this.
This is a very deep cut.
But it wasn't a deep cut. Super chat from Badger, thank you. I've been liking, commenting on your early stuff. Yeah, thank you. That's always good too. One DS9 side character develop more. Who is it? At this point, it's 100% Oh, there's two I have in mind, but I'm going to say Dr. Bashir. Because literally the last episode we watched was a Dax episode, even though the biggest complaint people seem to have was that it's not really about Dax, not really about Jadzia Dax, but it was about the Dax side of it, a little bit, and just Trill in general, Trill lore. So I would have to say Dr. Bashir. Also, you say side character, which it's like DS9's pretty much an ensemble. I mean, I get it, Cisco's the commander, but I don't really consider any of them main characters, even more so than TNG. I feel like it's just an ensemble. Couldn't be deeper than your Star Trek 6 reaction. Cut me. Listen, man. Dude, it's not good. It's not good. What do you want me to say? I was talking with Alex about this when we were recording. It's very funny. I feel like on the whole, not everything, but on the whole, the further away we get from stuff, the more I like generally accept it or like it. Like TOS, for example, it's all kind of meshed together where it's like even the episodes I didn't like for the most part, not the worst ones like Miri or The Children Shall Lead, but in general, a lot of the mid ones, it's like I look back fondly on the further we get from them. Star Trek 6, I've just liked less and less as time went on. I mean, when we first watched it, I even said I was like, I liked it more than Star Trek 5. That's not even true anymore. It is by far my least favorite. Oh. You meant non-regular character? Like a guest character? Then Nog, 100%. If you're saying like not opening credits character, then Nog. Nog's one of my favorite characters in Star Trek, and I've only seen him like 6 times. Blue Balls Bashir. Oh, damn, dude. First season of Deep Space Nine is worse than TNG. Yeah, I would agree. Depends on what you're looking for from TV. Are you looking to just watch some competent C-level TV, or are you looking to like see something really entertaining in either a good or bad way? That's really what it comes down to. I think people who love sci-fi and love Star Trek are probably gonna, err towards Deep Space Nine just because like you can turn it on in most of the episodes in season 1 or whatever. But me personally, I'll take TNG. Yeah, R.I.P. to the Nog actor Aaron Eisenberg. Yeah, R.I.P. Has having Ferengi characters be regulars to DS9 changed how you feel about them as a species? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it has. I think that, I don't know if we ever hated Ferengi as much as most people did in TNG. I mean, I didn't like them necessarily, but Quark and Nog and even Rom have really helped reset that species to where I'm actually, if they showed up in TNG, I'd be like, oh, cool, Ferengi. Let's see, like Dr. Rega in Suspicions. He was pretty different for a Ferengi, but I didn't instantly go, it was like, okay, we want Kalar back 100%. Josh, for DS9, can you change the green light? Green is never a common color in DS9. Turquoise, gold, or red would be better. Green would work for Voyager or pink. Well, actually, a little bit of a sneak peek coming up here, but I said earlier in the stream I'm changing around the way things look in the studio. The lighting background might actually be going away. I'm not sure yet. I have to see with the new setup if it still works. So it might just be going away after episode 4 of season 2. But if it doesn't, if it stays, the reason it's green, not the best answer, but it was basically the only color left. Purple is already being used for The Expanse. Obviously, the light blue for TNG. We use red for movies, sometimes with like a reddish orange. So it just was the only color left that worked. And I'm not going to take it away from The Expanse to give it to Deep Space Nine. So it is what it is. But it might just be going away in general in terms of the lighting background. It's pretty harsh too. The lighting is pretty harsh on us. I mean, you can see it come through in our thumbnails. You know, pretty impossible to get rid of. So. The rest of Star Trek continues. Probably eventually, maybe. Don't you love that? Don't you love that answer? Yeah, we'll watch it eventually. I just want to tour the set. I just want to get in contact with the guy again who they just moved to Ohio, and I guess they're already filming a fan film here in Ohio, a Star Trek fan film, and I just want to be able to make a video of us going to the set, but I got to reach out again. They didn't get back to me last time I reached out. Give yourself a part in the flick. Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey. Have you guys ever done the math to figure out how long it will take you to start finish different Trek series? I haven't personally done the math. I think people have in our audience, and every time they do, I just think to myself, this you can't go by this because we take breaks, things happen, things change. So that's why I never look too far ahead. I think most recently on the Patreon, some of the people had said that we should be finishing TNG right around the end of the year. I think they said, and maybe watching Generations around the end of the year. But we'll see. Obviously, it'd be a little bit longer than that for YouTube. You and Alex should be in a Star Trek fan film. I've never acted in my life outside of YouTube skits and wrestling promos. But I'd be down. I'd be probably really bad, but I'd be down. Generations Christmas Day special. Yeah, I don't know the math, but I don't really like releasing stuff around. It's just not a good time really to be releasing stuff maybe. But we'll see. I mean, for AdSense, it's good. December is one of the biggest months on YouTube for for AdSense, but just based on like audience, I mean, yeah, people are on their phones and computers, I guess, during the holidays because they're not working. But it's like I don't know. Me personally, I'm not really watching YouTube at the fullest when it's the holidays. I mean, are you guys? Do you guys watch YouTube like during the holidays? I mean, we're going to do a Christmas special like we did with A Christmas Carol last year. We're going to do a Christmas special, and we're going to do some more Christmas horror content. Probably a Black Christmas will definitely be one of them. But okay, this is insane. 2041, it's going to be sooner than that. There's no shot. I'm sorry. There's no shot it's taking us 16 more years. There's no way. I think we just passed like a quarter of the way through recently, and it's only been 2 or 3 years. You have time off then? Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Yeah, not everyone has, family stuff to go to. I mean, yeah, I get it. You watch YouTube every day. I'll be honest, man. I watch YouTube every day for, the last 10, 15 years of my life. But recently I've really fallen off just with being so busy, editing and other stuff. Like, obviously, once you start making your own content, it makes watching content a little bit different. But I mean, I haven't been watching TV or movies outside of the channel. I haven't really been watching YouTube outside of editing my own stuff. It's been weird because I used to watch it every day. 2,000 pages, we'll go to 4 episodes a week. We will never go to 4 episodes a week. I'm going to state that plainly right now. We will never do 4 episodes of Star Trek a week. Much more likely to be at 3 episodes a week and then promise a 4th episode, a 4th video that is something else. If you're on the Patreon right now, we're probably doing 4 to 5 uncut reactions per week, and that's already just so hard to keep up with. On the YouTube side, I would love to be able to do consistently every week the 3 Star Trek videos and then a 4th video every single week of something else, but I can't even do that right now. So I'm getting there. Sixto, what's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. I have a 54-minute drive and you're my entertainment. Make it good. Well, I hope you didn't send that while you were driving. There was a typo, so I'm suspecting you did. Alex needs to move in so you can record more. Yeah, it's really not a distance thing. I know you're joking there, but I mean, he only lives like 20 minutes away. It's just, different lives, different things. Even if Alex did leave his shoot job, to do this full time, it wouldn't necessarily. We're recording 3 days a week right now, around 12 to 15 hours of content a week. The recording really isn't the issue. It's the back end. It's the editing, where it's basically me and my wife. Alex is starting to help a little bit more too, but it's just that's what that's the big time consumer. So. Tyrants fan, longtime patron, says 6 episodes per week. That's my final offer. Not shoot like a parachute. Shoot like shoot. So like in wrestling, there's a work and a shoot. So a work means it's fake. Like it's a work. Like wrestling is a work. Sorry to tell you. But then when something's real, it's a shoot. Like, when you're wrestling somebody and you shoot on them, it's real, right? Like amateur wrestling. So it's a shoot. So when you say your shoot job, your real job, your day job. So up until very recently, I had a shoot job. And now this is my shoot job. Which is pretty scary to think about. This is a great stream to watch while pooping. Don't forget to wipe. And don't forget the courtesy flush. Been a Patreon member over a year. I tend to be a lurker and read comments. Just wanted to take the time in my first live to thank both of y'all so much for your content. Has brought me joy. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. And I'm glad you're over on the Patreon. And yeah, it's funny. I don't even think about that. When a video or a post does well on Patreon, maybe 100 comments, 200 comments, and a lot of those might be replies. So there's really maybe 50 to 60 people commenting. And we have over 1,500 paying members. So, just like on YouTube, we have a few hundred comments, but thousands of views. It's like most of the people don't really comment that often. And that's fine. You don't have to. But I appreciate that. It's a good thing to be reminded of, that there's a lot of people that do enjoy our content and just don't ever really, I don't even know who they are. I mean, I don't know who any of you are, but I do know your names, some of you. Like longtime patron Michael Nemo. Do you know what Kirk found in the toilet? The Captain's log. Based. W. What will you do for Lower Decks and Prodigy 22-minute episodes? Single episodes like TAS or double episodes? I don't want to speak too far ahead, but I probably, because that stuff is new Trek. First of all, on the YouTube side, it's always going to be single videos. But they would probably be shorter, but like I could see us doing maybe like posting 2 videos back to back, or like in the same day of like 2 different episodes. I could definitely see increasing the volume if they're 22 minutes. TAS, for example, we were posting those, I think, 3 a week at least. We were going through those on YouTube pretty quickly. The Patreon comments are way more chill now. I swear people used to be at each other's throats during TNG season. I don't know what season you're talking about. I'm going to be honest, though. I think that was Star Trek 6. I think there were a lot of people who had been on the Patreon for a long time that left after Star Trek 6, either A, just because that was the end of TOS, basically, and like they had been there on the Patreon, to watch TOS, or because they got mad at us. And I think that, yeah, it really has been pretty, a lot more chill since then. I'm happy for everyone's, I appreciate everyone's support. If you want to join our Patreon and shit on us in every post, that's totally your right. I will take your money for you to have the right to do that. That's totally fine. Now, I do clap back a lot more on Patreon, so be prepared for that. But with that being said, yeah, I think some of those people that did leave, I have noticed that as well. So I would agree with you, and it is nice. And but I also still welcome. I love the heated debates in the comments, whether it's with me and somebody or if it's between patrons. As long as it doesn't get personal or anything, I love the heated debates. Great undiscovered country exodus. Yeah, it was. I don't know if it'd go that far. Still grew overall. Nick says this is my favorite Star Trek reaction channel on the promenade. Thank you. I shower after my poop, so no need to wipe. You should definitely still wipe, Tony. Please, please wipe. This used to be the submarine movie reaction channel. Those were the days. Yep. Yep. We had Crimson Tide. We had the infamous Hunt for Red October. Those are the days, man. Am I forgetting any? Oh, The Abyss. Yeah. I don't really consider The Abyss like they are obviously in a submarine, but so much is going on in that movie. You know, I forget that is the case. I like The Abyss. The Abyss was good. I remember I put in the video. This is when we were doing audience cut, and I put in the video. I had to record a voiceover in the video during one of the parts just to praise because the movie is so beautiful, and like we didn't really talk about it that much in the discussion. I think it was the only time I've ever done like a post recording voiceover edit to like add into the video because I was like this movie is just beautiful, and we watched it on 4K. I was like this looks amazing. I just had to add that in. I still can't believe your guys' reaction to Hunt for Red October. Yeah, me either, man. Do you like South Park? I've seen episodes of South Park, like the really popular ones, especially back in the day, like when I was growing up. So like when I was in like middle school, high school, late 2000s, early 2010s, I watched some of the more famous episodes of South Park. Like for me, what come to mind is like the Guitar Hero episode, the Kanye West episode, the Family Guy episode. Obviously, I watched the WWE parody episode because I was, a wrestling fan, but I've never like watched the show. I only would tune in, or catch an episode if like my friend said it was funny or it was something I thought I would like. So yes, in general, I do like the comedy of that show, but it's just not one that I've watched a whole ton of. But I've been seeing some of the newer clips on TikTok, and it looks pretty funny. It definitely seems like the fan base of that show, like has kind of stayed relevant. Like I think about shows like The Simpsons or Family Guy, and everyone kind of agrees that it's like, oh yeah, it used to be a lot better. It's still around, it's still on, but it's not what it used to be. But it seems like South Park has been able to kind of stay relevant and stay funny, at least from what their fan base has said. So good for them on that. What are you watching in your personal time? Yeah, not a lot. Not a lot. I don't really have the time. I don't know if I think I've said this on stream before, but like me and my wife like to watch a lot of more chick focused things or a lot of like YA like Netflix adaptations that we laugh at and sometimes enjoy. So we're going to be watching The Summer I Turned Pretty. Just had a new season starts on Amazon Prime, so we're going to watch that together. So that is really the only time I'm watching stuff in my personal time is when I'm watching it with my wife, like at night, and even then it's not that often because we're both so busy. Um, I am, however, a huge fan of trash reality TV. So I have always been a huge fan of the show The Challenge. And I have been trying to catch up on that because there were a few seasons of The Challenge All Stars as well as the main show, The Challenge, which I had not yet watched. And they are on Paramount Plus now. So I have been catching up on those. I just finished season 4 of All Stars, and but season 5 is already out and done. So I got to catch up on that. Yeah. Yeah, Hallmark Christmas. Yeah. Hallmark Christmas movies is definitely a go-to during the holidays. Some great ones. Some great ones. Lindsay Lohan recently made a few Netflix movies that were great watches, not because they were great films. So that's where it's at. New season of The Challenge starts this week. Oh, does it? Okay. Yeah, I gotta watch. I just finished season 4 of All Stars, so I have to start season 40 and then that's all on Paramount Plus, and then I have to watch All Star Season 5, which is already over. That's all on Paramount Plus. But then if you're talking about if it's the new season of the main show, The Challenge, is that still on MTV, or have they moved that to Paramount Plus? At this point, who is watching MTV? There was a time where I was watching The Challenge to catch up on MTV.com, which was just filled with ads like every 2 minutes. It's still on MTV? Okay, well, I'll do my best. But I might have to wait for Paramount Plus. And wait, didn't they actually move All Stars to MTV for season 5 as well? It's on Paramount Plus now. Did you say season 40? Yes, The Challenge is been on a very long time. It was originally the Real World Road Rules Challenge. I think back in like 99 or 98 was the first season. So definitely one of the longest running reality shows. My very first season of watching it was back in like 2004. 2005 was, I think, Battle of the Sexes 2. So I started watching it since then because, well, first I watched Road Rules and Real World, and then those people went over to The Challenge. So then I started watching that. And it was kind of like professional wrestling in a way where you got to know the characters of the people because they actually returned every season. Like new people would go on Real World and Road Rules, and then they would move over to The Challenge. But like The Challenge was like returning people. So unlike other reality shows like Survivor and stuff, where I know they eventually brought people back, but it was like, new people every season. The Challenge, it was like, oh, damn, Derek didn't win this time. Maybe he'll get it next season. And it was like really cool to see the returning people and then going and watching the Real World and then seeing some of those people come in and how are they going to interact with the people on The Challenge. Very fun, very fun. And then I watched it for about 10 years and I fell off around the time I graduated high school and started wrestling and got really busy. So around like season 25, Free Agents was the last one I watched every week. And then just a few years ago in like 2020 pandemic, I caught back up and rewatched the whole thing. And it was awesome because it actually coincided with the beginning of Challenge All Stars, where they brought back all of the OG people. And I was like, oh, sweet. So then I caught up with everything. And yeah. Been watching that franchise since the beginning, so long as Star Trek. Yeah, man, I've thought about, before we started this channel, I had a very thought out consideration of starting a Challenge YouTube channel. There's ones out there that do pretty well. If I was ever going to do another channel on my own that was not movie centered, because everything I've done content wise, even before this channel, was mostly just my thoughts on movies. If it wasn't going to be movie centered, it would probably either be pro wrestling or The Challenge. But pro wrestling is just so saturated, and not that I don't enjoy it anymore, but like I've watched it my whole life and I'm kind of just burnt out. I still watch the big shows and I watch it online, clips and whatnot, but I just don't really follow it. So I wouldn't have as much passion for that. Plus there's just so much saturation of it now. So yeah, what I'm saying is The Challenge channel incoming. So much is banned now. Is it really? I think there's only one season that's not on Paramount Plus now, which is the Inferno 3. Well, they don't have like the first, 10 seasons or something from back in the day. I have them. But they don't have them streaming. So yeah, if you're talking about that, then yeah. But I think as far as the ones that they do have up, I think only the Inferno 3 is not on there. And then like one-off episodes of some seasons are missing because of various reasons, but actually, they might have actually put the Inferno 3 up. I think it was missing at one time, but they put it up, I think, with maybe some of the episodes taken out. How did you and Alex take the big news in wrestling this week? Yeah, I'm obviously assuming you're talking about Hulk Hogan passing. Yeah, it's weird. I don't really take celebrity deaths personally for the most part. I also haven't had a lot of people that I've been genuinely connected with growing up pass away yet. So that's part of it. But, Hulk Hogan passing away, it's weird for sure. It's definitely weird, but I'm obviously aware of Hulk Hogan. I obviously watched him wrestling growing up. He was past his prime at that point, but, I did watch him. But I wasn't watching wrestling in the 80s. I wasn't alive, or in the early 90s. So he wasn't the guy when I was watching it. Now, if, Stone Cold passed away or something, or, Jeff Hardy or something like that would really hit me. But just not me, to take away me personally, just on a bigger scale. I mean, obviously he's one of the biggest, he's the reason modern wrestling even exists. So it's crazy that he passed away. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't have like a typical thought process when it comes to death in that way. I don't know how to explain that really, but I just find like it's like, he was 71, so that's still too young, but for being a pro wrestler, that's pretty old. Like, let's be honest, I mean, for being a pro wrestler, 71, you had a long life, especially being a wrestler in the 80s, in the 90s, it's pretty long life. Yeah, it's ancient. Yeah. So I can't say it was shocking. So used to watch WWF back then, stopped following it probably when he was winding down. Yeah. I mean, obviously there was the Attitude Era, when he went to WCW, and then guys like The Rock and Austin and stuff came up and made the Attitude Era, which, there was a big boom then. But, by the time I was seeing him, on his second run in WWE, I mean, he had some great matches, The Rock and Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18, one of the best matches of all time. But, it just wasn't really the same. It was a nostalgia-based run. So. Now ready for Shander to go. Hope he lives till 100. Yeah, absolutely. But again, for me, it's like, it's sad when people pass away. Absolutely. But it's just kind of like, I hope William Shatner lives another 30 years. But it's also like, yeah, he's about to be 100. So. Did you guys watch The Iron Claw? Yes. We talked about it on an episode of our Patreon podcast that we do a few times a year. Called Whatever This Is, but I enjoyed The Iron Claw. I own it on Blu-ray. Alex did not enjoy it at all. And our biggest disagreement was actually the acting. He thought all of the acting performances were terrible, and I thought they were all great. Now, that's a big generalization, so that's not 100% what we thought, but that was the main disagreement, which is rare for us to watch a movie and have a disagreement like that over a specific thing. So that was the main difference. I do think it's kind of weird that they just kind of straight up cut out one of the brothers because it couldn't fit into the movie. So like, instead of giving one of the brothers a small part, he's not in the movie as if he doesn't exist. One of the Von Erichs. That's kind of weird, but I understand the filmmaker's choice. I just feel like when you're making something based on real life, it's kind of weird to just take liberties like that. But anyway, I don't like to really take into consideration outside stuff. But when you're doing a movie based on a true story, But overall, yeah, I enjoyed the movie. Michael, thank you so much for the super chat. I always felt that The Defector had a lot in common tonally and thematically with Duet. Defector feels to me like a DS9 episode. I totally understand that perspective. That's yeah, I can't disagree with that. Yeah, that's fair. Especially with the ending of Defector, downer ending in a lot of ways. But classic TNG, they try to give you that hope. One day. Have you being spoiled, or have you seen any news related to New Trek, maybe on ads you don't want to see or on social media? Yeah, it's a great question, and actually, because people always ask about getting spoiled about stuff coming up or watching. But in terms of New Trek, yeah, so obviously we did watch Star Trek 2009 when it came out in theaters. I don't think Alex saw Into Darkness or Beyond. I don't think he did, but I did. But it was when they came out. I mean, even Star Trek Beyond was 2016. So like, it's been forever ago. I was a teenager. I don't remember them, but I obviously know a lot about those movies because of that. And then the newer Trek stuff, I do see ads, on TV. I obviously try to stay away from them. But like, just as an example, like, I've seen for the most part most of the cast, at least in photos or in ads, of Strange New Worlds. Like, I know what the guy looks like who plays, is he Pike? Is that the lead of that show? The guy who they cast as Spock, Uhura, I think, is in the show, isn't she? Like, I've seen pictures and stuff of that. I also do see like Star Trek news when it comes up. So it's like, I know Becky Lynch is going to be in the new Star Trek Academy show they're making. So it's like, I hear and see things here and there. But for the most part, I would say, I mean, when you're talking about spoilers, the important thing is the plot, right? Like plot reveals, plot twists. I haven't had really any huge Star Trek plot twist or reveal spoilers. So like the biggest thing as far as the modern stuff would just be like knowing what it looks like through pictures and ads, but like even then you're not getting the full scope of it. So, it's been limited, but yeah, it does happen. Definitely not through comments necessarily. Although I will say I have been spoiled on some things in the show Picard because of YouTube comments of people being like, "Oh, well, they should have, remembered this episode when they did this in Picard." And if you do that, like, don't do that. That's an instant block from the channel if you do anything like that. So just don't. But for the most part, also I'm going to forget all of this by the time we get there, so it doesn't matter. Michael says you should react to South Park season 27, episode 1. Is that the current season? I'm not going to react to it, but I did see a clip of I thought was pretty funny where is it Stan's dad? Whichever dad is the one that has the mustache. But he's like, I have to talk to somebody about this, and then he's talking to ChatGPT. That was pretty funny. I'll be interested to see you guys react to Star Trek Discovery. I just could not stand that show. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but I think it'll be, win-win, whether we like it or not. It'll be fun. Josh, Ian. What's up, Ian? Are you looking forward to Cry from DS9? I hope so, man. I mean, crying is, it's rare for me when watching media. So I don't try to, but I also don't try not to. I, I don't want to say it's cringe, but like, I don't want to be like, I don't know. Reaction is a weird form of content because you're supposed to be your most emotive, but while not doing it on purpose, which I think we do pretty well. Like when we react in our reactions, when we pop and stuff, it's like because we're wrestling fans, it's like a wrestling type reaction, right? When you're watching wrestling and there's a pop, something happens, that's why a lot of our best reactions are the pops because they're genuine. But if I'm watching Star Trek alone by myself, not making content, and a big reveal happens, like I'm not popping like that. I'm just like, oh, like maybe I'll once in a while like say something out loud, but like, but that doesn't make it not genuine. So when it comes to crying, it's interesting because like you can't really. I feel like if you faked crying, it would be very, very obvious. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like it's something that has to be pulled from you. And like, not only that, but you kind of have to be like in the right headspace in the episode or movie has to be good enough to pull that from you. So yeah, I mean, if it happens, I just hope it's not like Battle Lines. Yeah, the Family Guy episode of the TNG cast I saw way before ever watching Star Trek, so I can't go back and watch it yet because of spoilers. Obviously, when I watched it as a kid, I didn't know about TNG outside of Jonathan Frakes, so the spoiler, I don't remember any of the spoilers. But I do remember the episode and it being very funny. So I am excited to be able to rewatch that eventually. Assuming you do 3 episodes, movies a week, it would take you guys about 4 years, 3.5 months to catch up where Trek is right now. Yeah, 4 years. Yeah, that seems realistic. There are definitely reactors who fake sob and force cry. Yeah, I never want to like shit on anybody, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is in anything, and not just reactors, in any type of content or anything where you're on camera. Everyone puts on a performance on camera. I'm putting on a performance right now on this live stream. Mostly subconsciously, but like everyone does. That's just the world we live in now. First of all, if you want to get deeper, but everyone puts on a performance. But the point is, to try to do it as genuine as you can. Do you plan to sit through every Modern Trek episode no matter what, or will you stop watching if you find them too unbearable? Listen, man, we made it through DS9 season 1, so no, we are watching it all. We are watching it all. And again, you have to remember it's us, right? So if it's unbearable in the sense that it's so bad, I mean, we're gonna relish, ripping it apart, How many Star Trek celebrities have you or Alex met? Just saw Alex post about meeting Gates. I haven't met anybody. Alex has met Jonathan Frakes, Brent Spiner, Denise Crosby, and now Gates McFadden through pictures and meet and greets. So not in any real life situations, but I think that's it. And then William Shatner. He met William Shatner as well for a picture. But these are obviously, I mean, yeah, they're you walk in, you say hi, take a picture, whatever. But that doesn't invalidate it. But I would, like I said earlier, I would love to be able to get to a point where I could have like an actual conversation with any of these people. Will you watch Prodigy? If it's a canon Star Trek show, then yes. Thank you, Paul. That's why I love this channel. You get honest reactions and great analysis of the writing and direction. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. This is actually a really interesting question. What if the later Trek series are Red Dwarf bad? How should I answer this? It might be okay. First, I'll answer your question genuinely. If they're Red Dwarf bad, it's gonna be bad. Like that would be very hard, but we would do it, and we would just tear it apart every single episode until everyone stopped watching. But Red Dwarf. Now, again, everyone calm down. I'm speaking of the one episode that we watched, the very first episode, okay? Not talking about the whole series. Didn't watch it, obviously. But that one episode, if you were to like cook up a 20-minute episode of television specifically made for Alex and I to not like it, it's the first episode of Red Dwarf. So I don't think Star Trek could ever be that bad. Not that like, I'm not saying Red Dwarf is like the worst TV show of all time. It's just specifically that first episode is like custom made for something we would absolutely despise. Not from like a quality perspective, but like the way the show's made, the jokes, the way they're written, everything about it. So it was a rare thing. And it was honestly a bummer because I had heard a lot of good things, and obviously some people requested it, and we watched it as like a random thing. Like, it wasn't a commitment or anything. We were just trying it. And, I wanted to like it. I wanted to watch it. It was 6 episodes a season. Like, that would have been so easy. But, it just wasn't meant to be. Terry Farrell counts as a one-half meat for you both. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't count it, but I know you're talking about the cameo we got. Yeah, I wouldn't count that, but if you want to. Since you're in the final season of TNG, do you have any hopes, expectations for the finale? The biggest thing for me is just I want it to be a finale. That's really my only hope. Make it feel like the end of the show. That's really my only hope. All right. Looks like I'm caught up on super chats. We're getting right about 2 hours here for the stream, so I'm going to be heading out. And I always end my stream with answering some ridiculous questions. So you can go ahead and throw those in the chat not Star Trek related, just random, ridiculous questions. I'll answer the most ridiculous ones, and I'll give you guys a few minutes to do that, and then I'll answer some of those on my way out. But thank you, everyone, for being on the stream. The link is still pinned if you want a free month for new members over on the Patreon. And I'm going to answer this real quick. While you guys send in your ridiculous questions, Fast Eddie, have you guys reviewed Arrival? Great sci-fi. Arrival is my favorite movie ever. So we haven't reviewed it, but if you watch our video on our YouTube channel, our top 10 favorite movies video, where Alex and I both list our top 10 favorite movies, I talk about Arrival in depth in that video and why it's my favorite movie. Have you seen Fantastic Four? Do you truly not like fun? I haven't seen it, but not because I don't want to see it. I would like to watch it. I just didn't go to the movie theater this weekend. I saw Superman a few weeks ago, so for me, going to the movie theater is not a very common occurrence anymore. So already going to Superman a couple weeks ago, it'd be tough to go back already. But I'm guessing that means you enjoyed it. I hope it's good. Favorite pasta shape? 100%. I don't know if this counts as a shape, but angel hair. Angel hair 100% is my favorite pasta. If I have to pick an actual shape, then I would go shells. Stuffed shells, mini shells. I also like bow ties. Here we go. Favorite go-to. Can you tell I like the food ones? Big shocker. Favorite go-to Taco Bell order. Okay, ready? Cheese quesadilla with a side of sour cream. 3 soft tacos, sometimes supreme, sometimes not, give or take. And then recently, ever since they introduced the Cantina menu, also a chicken Cantina burrito. But before they introduced the Cantina menu, then I would say what I already said, and then also some cheesy Fiesta potatoes. That's my go-to. But honestly, Taco Bell, you really can't go wrong. It all basically tastes the same. Buffy season 2, when? When we had 10,000 patrons. Chalupa. Can't go wrong with the chalupa. There's definitely times where I go up and just get 2 chalupas, for sure. All right, we're still sticking on the same thing here. Okay, go to McDonald's order. I'm not a huge McDonald's guy, but so my order is pretty basic. I typically just get a Big Mac sandwich. Nothing special. I don't get the meal. I don't really get meals places. Like I have drinks at home. I don't really eat like fries or anything. Just get a Big Mac sandwich, and then if I'm feeling real hungry, maybe throw in a McChicken. Yeah, nothing too crazy, unfortunately, for McDonald's. Are bananas your favorite berry? Probably, but you can't forget about boysenberry. What is your favorite question format? Multiple choice? I don't know. Would you rather share quarters with Spot for a week or babysit Alexander for a weekend? Great question, and thank you for the super chat, Mad Scientist. I already have an orange cat, so I feel like sharing quarters with Spot for a week wouldn't be that bad because I deal with essentially a Spot not only being an orange cat, but also in his behavior, unruly orange cat behavior already. But I do think babysitting Alexander for a weekend would be fun because I would just roast his ass. I would just make fun of him. Who's Alexander? All I know is Dorf. Absolutely. All right. I'm going to head out, guys. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for being here on the stream. Feel free to click that link if you're a new member for the Patreon. Get a free month. We just posted Liaisons over there on Patreon. And tomorrow is early access for the part 2, The Circle for DS9 Season 2. And then this upcoming week, look forward to 3 Star Trek episodes, hopefully. And yeah, I'm full-time now, so I'm getting things cooking. I'm getting things done ahead of time more and more. So I'm hoping to step that up, not only on the Patreon uncut side, which is the first priority, but also, YouTube edits, getting 3 a week for Star Trek, and then also getting some other edits done that we can put up on YouTube as well, especially getting the Horror Gallery restarted. So stay tuned here shortly for all of that. Thank you for the fun stream, and a couple of streams coming up at some point in the near future, probably tomorrow, if not, or either tomorrow or Monday. I'm going to stream reorganizing the background for the discussions, putting up our Star Trek memorabilia. So come to that stream, and I'll be doing that. You can help me decide where to put everything, what to put up, what to include. And then also coming up either this upcoming week or the following week will be our tier list live stream. DS9 Season 1 and TNG Season 6 are tier lists for those seasons. So stay tuned for those. And if I had the time, maybe I'll do another just random stream like this one. It's always a fun time with you guys. So thank you for being here. Have a great Saturday night / Sunday morning, wherever you are. And I'll see you guys later.